Hey friends, V here, and happy day 2 of Halloween Spooktacular. Welcome in. I'm trying to see where we are. Hello, guys. Welcome in. Sorry for the movement. Just trying to adjust. How's everyone doing? Happy day 2 of Halloween Spooktacular 2025. If you are joining us, we just finished over with photo fab paper flowers for her day 2 flower designs for Halloween Spooktacular 2025. So I'm super grateful for Miss Julie and all of her creativity. She made the coolest looking Halloween Spooktacular flowers, okay? You know how much detail and love she puts into her flowers. So thank you, Julie, for being amazing. Hello, Tammy. Oh, I forgot. I need to share my live. Let me go ahead and share it. Let me head over to my Facebook page to share. Give me a second. And while I'm doing that, how about you guys hit that share button as well? Share the link over to your Facebook pages. You can place it in your Facebook or Instagram stories. You can take a screenshot of your screen, put it in your Instagram or Facebook stories, and add the link to the live. If you hit the share button, you can also save it over to Pinterest. I mentioned this yesterday during Julie's live on day 1 that if you have a Pinterest account where you like to pin ideas you see on the internet, go to your Pinterest. Well, first hit the share button here on YouTube uh, and select the Pinterest option. Create a new board and title it 2025 Halloween Spooktacular. And then go ahead and share this live or link over to that board. That is a great way, one, to save and to be able to access our videos all in one place. So that way you have it on Pinterest and you can just hit the links and go to the YouTube channels. So that way you don't lose them and you kind of organize them. So that's a fun way you can organize all of our live tutorials that you see that and you will be seeing in the future here on YouTube. So thank you to everyone who is here. I've created a Pinterest board. If you follow me on Pinterest, it says 2025 Halloween Spooktacular, and it has the links from yesterday's lives as well as today's Julie's link from today's live. So thank you guys. How is everyone doing? I appreciate y'all being here. Let's see. I'm sharing to my Facebook page. Okay, there we go. So I do want to say thank you to everyone for joining us here on our YouTube channel. It's a little change of pace for both Julie and I, since we are just trying to figure out and manage the best way to move forward with our tutorials. This is our first time doing Halloween Spooktacular here on YouTube. Just to catch anyone up that may not know, Facebook no longer houses live tutorials for more than 30 days. So if we had done this on Facebook, on our pages, they would only be available for 30 days. And then that would require us to do more work to get those videos from Facebook and re-upload them to YouTube. So that way y'all have access to them, going forward. So to avoid those steps, Julie works full time. I am, my husband's caregiver for his, diagnosis and what's been going on for the past 7 months. So anything that can help us to alleviate, some more work and steps is great. So we decided to go ahead and do our Halloween Spooktacular directly here on YouTube. So be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to share the live and just really help us push our content that we're posting here on YouTube. So that way everyone can kind of trickle over. Now we will still continue to interact and create content over on our Facebooks. It's just that live tutorials and like our, what do you call it? Collaborations like this will be on YouTube going forward. Okay. So thank you, everyone. As you can see in today's live, there is Florist Explorist.
Hola, amigos.
Straight from a nap.
I hear. Straight from a nap, wide awake. Grabbing my M&M.
Hello, Grace. Hey, Tammy. Hey, Alice. Miss Vanessa. Welcome, welcome in. So we are on day 2 of Halloween Spooktacular 2025, and this is our second tutorial. Julie just finished her live, so be sure to check hers out. You can watch that replay over on her channel, PhotoFab Paper Flowers. Now, for my live, I am going to be working with the large template number 8. Template number 8. It's giving like spider legs. Like, you know, when you look at spiders and their legs closely, they have, or like their little feet, they have like these little spikes here, like the little edges. So that's what inspired this template. Although I'm not doing a spider vibe flower today, but she is template 8, large template 8. Okay, so you can purchase our bundles over in our Etsy shops. They are 50% off, ongoing until further notice, probably through November. So be sure to purchase our template bundles. My Etsy has the large bundle with template 7 and 8, and Julie's Etsy shop has the mini template bundle with her mini template 7 and 8. Okay, so we're going to use this template today. Now, I obviously pre-cut and pre-inked. You're welcome, because yesterday I was inking for my life, yesterday's tutorial, and we are using petals 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So we're using petals 4 through 8 from my large template 8. And you're going to need 6 of each petal size, okay? So petal 4 through 8 is what we're using. And I'm using this green cardstock from Recollections by Michaels. I'm also going to use the 6.5 inch hexagon base for our flower. And this is a pre-cut base. Let me move this off to the side. Knowing me, I'll knock it off my table and then my petals will be all over the place. Thank you for sharing, guys. Thank you, Grace, for sharing to Pinterest. You are going to need some scissors. I know these, y'all notice things real quick. Yesterday, Jeanette pointed out that I'm using different scissors. These are old scissors. I had these right after the wedding. These are the ones I bought after our wedding in 2021 because I thought I lost my original peacock colored ones. But the peacock ones are in my workshop bag, so I'm just using these for now. We're going to be using the pink and yellow wood dowels. This is a 1/2 inch dowel and a 3/8 dowel. We are going to use a flexible ruler. And you're going to, of course, need a hot glue gun and make sure to plug her in. Glad I mentioned that. And what else? And then for the centers, I decided to go with a pre-cut center. I don't want to freak out my hands in carpal tunnel, guys. I am getting back into the swing of things with tutorials and getting back into paper flower making. So I don't want to put my carpal tunnel, my fingers, wrists, elbows in shock. So I decided to cut out these images from Cricut Design Space. Now, this specific image that I used is from Cricut Design Space, but our girl Julie with PhotoFab Paper Flowers has a design in her Etsy shop. She has a Centers Bundle 2, and you can purchase an image similar to this one to make your centers, okay? And this is machine cut, whether you're using a Cricut or Silhouette. This is how I cut that, okay? So I'm doing a little combo color for the center. We'll get to that at the end. Let me make sure. Hello, everyone. Okay. So now that we have everything organized and we know what we're needing as far as our tools and materials, what I want to do, hey Martha, is we're going to style our petals. Now, the inking and Distress Oxide, same thing as yesterday. I used the Black Soot Distress Oxide by Ranger Ink Tim Holtz edition. I inked the heck out of my little sponge here, and she was kind of falling apart. But this is Distress Oxide. I just inked the edges. There's no way, like, there's not a wrong way to ink. I just kind of went along the edges. Now, there is a petal that I didn't do completely, so I'll just quickly show you how we did this one. So I'm just going in and kind of just dragging, pushing down and pulling up. And I'm going to do the same for the other side. Okay. And I am going to kind of go all the way towards the bottom. You don't have to go all the way to the base, but just enough. So that way, in the case you see those bottom edges, it's covered. Okay. So that is how we did our Distress Oxide. I was distressing while watching Miss Julie during her live. So that way y'all didn't have to sit through all of the inking like y'all did yesterday, ever so patiently. I have. She's making me step up my game, guys, okay? I don't always distress my paper flowers, but when I do, it's because Julie. It's because paper flowers inspires me. So now that you have all of your petals inked, we're going to go ahead and move the base over just for now, out of the way. And we're going to always start with our largest petal size, and that is going to be, in this case, petal number 8. Now, as I mentioned, we're using petal 8, 7, 6, 5, and 4. There are 6 petals of each size, okay? So I'm going to start with petal 8. I'm going to take 3 petals at a time. To style this flower, I am going to crease down the center. I have not done this technique in such a long time with the crease, but I am going to do it today because I'm feeling it. We're going to crease. We're going to take our 1/2 inch pink wood dowel and we are going to curl the edges out just like that. Take the dowel to the back side at an angle so it's going up towards the center top of the petal. And then you can use your table. I'm going to flip it over. Don't tear your petal and just roll. And that is going to be the way that we style all of our petals. So you can go in one by one. If you're new to paper flowers, I do recommend curling one petal at a time to avoid any cramping or issues with your wrists or fingers. But if you're a professional, like most of y'all are, you can go in and curl multiple petals at one time. Okay. So again, I'm using the pink 1/2 inch wood dowel. Now the wood dowels are available over in PhotoFab Paper Flowers Etsy shop. She's the queen of paper flower tools. Okay. So she sells toolkits available for large paper flowers and mini paper flowers. And you can purchase and she will ship to you. So that way you can use the same tools that we use during our live tutorials. Thank you guys. Yeah, I feel like if I don't eat, I'm going to disappoint Julie. Like, I'm not trying to disappoint PhotoFab Paper Flowers, okay? So we're going to go ahead and continue. And right here, I actually curled 3 petals at once, okay? So all 6 petals of petal 8 are creased and curled. So now I'm going to go back to taking 3 petals, okay? And we are going to go to the bottom straight edge with the small, like 1 inch straight edge. And we're going to cut up the center of this flower. Or sorry, of this petal, and we're going to cut a full 6 inch cut a 6-inch cut. 6 inches. Okay, 6-inch cut up the center of petal 8. Exactly, Martha, exactly. And we're going to go ahead and again cut up the center 6 inches on the second set of 3 petals, still petal 8. So all of petal 8 have a 6-inch cut up the center. Of course my iPad's about to die. I was so focused on charging my phone, and now my iPad. Okay, she's plugged in. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take petal. Since my glue gun is still warming up, I'll do the overlap and assembly once we do all of the petals. So I'm going to go ahead and take petal 7. Again, I'm going to take 3 at a time. I'm going to fold in half and crease. Take my 1/2-inch pink dowel to the back side of the petals at an angle and just curl back. Aw, thanks, Julie. Thank you guys for being here. Don't forget, you can purchase our template bundles over in our Etsy shops. Julie is such an amazing paper florist, and she did so awesome today in her day 2 of flowers. Now, what I will say, because tomorrow is already day 3 for Halloween Spooktacular, I am going to be making an additional flower of this exact flower, as well as an additional flower of yesterday's day 1 flower. Okay, so I'm doing a set of 5 flowers that I will show y'all how to assemble tomorrow after I complete our 3rd style flower. But behind the scenes, I'm going to make another one of these flowers and another one of day 1's flowers. So that way I have a total of 5 tomorrow. And y'all can see how I would style the flowers for a set for like a little Halloween mini backdrop, if you're having a Halloween party, etc. So now I'm going into petal 7, and we are doing a 5-inch cut on petal 7, 5-inch cut. Okay. Now I'm going into petal 6 again, taking 3 petals, creasing. I'm still going to use the pink 1/2-inch dowel to curl. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same for the other set of 3 petals. Again, I'm stacking my petals all together to be able to style them at once. My elbow. Okay. And then on petal 6, I'm going to do a cut up the center. And for petal 6, we are going to do a 4-inch cut on petal 6. So cut up the center, 4 inches for petal 6. Okay, so now we're going into petal number 5. We are going to crease like so. But for petal 5, we're going to go down to the 3/8 yellow dowel. Since our petal is getting smaller, we want to make sure we go down in size on the dowel to ensure that the edges of the petal can actually wrap around the dowel to create that curl, okay? And again, for petal 5, same thing on the second set of 3 petals, same layer, just working on the second set. And then I'm going to cut up the center. And I'm going to do a 3-inch cut on petal number 5. 3-inch. Okay. Yep. And last, but certainly not least, we have petal number 4. And for this layer, again, repeating the process with the crease. Taking our yellow 3/8 dowel and curling those edges. And then we're going to go ahead and cut. And I'm going to do a 2.5-inch cut on this one. Not a 2, but a 2.5 on petal 4. 2.5 on petal 4. If you were in Julie's live, then you saw that what Florissy Explorers and I are dressing up as Halloween this year. Julie guessed that we were going to do Bud and Sissy, although I wish that was the case. We are going to be a pickleball and a pickleball paddle. So that should be fun. So now again, petal 4, you're doing a 2.5-inch cut. Once all of your petals are styled and cut up the center, again, going back to my large layer, I always start with the large. One by one, I'm going to proceed to assemble. So I'm going to add glue. Although the cut is 6 inches on this one, you don't have to put glue all up along the 6-inch edge. You're going to put it down here. You're going to take the right tab, cross over. So that way the 2 outer edges meet in the middle, and you can create this teeny tiny little triangle opening where my finger's at. Okay, I don't know if it's focused or not. No, it's not focused. I think it's focused there. It's a little blurry. I was a little too close. Okay, so you're going to continue that assembly for all layers. Okay, I'm going to make sure I have my Gorilla Hot Glue Sticks, the trusted Gorilla Hot Glue Sticks. Hey, Tammy. So I can't say that I have had a craft gone terribly wrong. I will say, I know we talked about it yesterday, what's worse, a glitter spill or a hot glue gun burn. There was a hot glue gun burn that took my breath away during a live. And I don't know, some of you may remember this. This was back when I was at my parents'. I would go over to my parents' house to do tutorials. I had a room over there, my old room. I set it up as my craft room. And I had my glue gun, and it was one of those drippy glue guns. We're not going to call out the company that had drippy glue guns back in the day. But I remember putting the glue down, and I picked it up. Like it was sitting, but there was already a piece of glue, hot glue dripping, and I picked it up, and that little raindrop of hot glue landed on the inside of my thigh, like close to my knee. And it burns so bad. Immediate reaction. It may have been on Instagram, but I know I was on live when it happened. Hey, Esther. But I don't have any like crafting horror stories as far as like a craft gone wrong. Just a hot glue gun burn on the inner leg. So right now I'm just going to continue this process. You know what? I could picture that. Yeah. That's hilarious. So again, we're just adding our glue, making sure the bottom right edge crosses over to meet the bottom left edge. And then you have this small little triangle shape in the center. Okay. You don't want to overlap it to where you have a big triangle. Just keep it small. Okay. And that's for all layers. As I say that, this triangle is a little bit bigger, but it's okay. We hope y'all are enjoying 2025 Halloween Spooktacular as much as we are. We will be back live tomorrow on Sunday. And we're kicking it off early. At least for me, it's going to be 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern. I will be kicking us off with our day 3 of Halloween Spooktacular. And Julie will be following immediately after to complete her flowers and project. And I do believe Julie did post Julie, did you post the tutorial on the project that you made? Like the base of it? And now we're into petal 4. Again, just assembling as usual. Now, distressing your petals with that, I did the black soot distress on the edges of the green petals. It is not a requirement, but when it comes to, you know, Halloween projects or just projects in general, depending on your theme or the color scheme, adding distress oxide just really elevates your flower and your design. So, although not recommended, highly encouraged. All thanks to Miss Julie at Photofab Paper Flowers for distressing the heck out of her flowers and making them look so good. So thank you, Julie. Alrighty, guys. So now that all of our petals are assembled, we get to the fun part. This is where our flower begins to come together with all the petals being added to the base. So we are using the 6.5 inch hexagon base. Excuse me. And we need to determine how far petal 8 should be placed onto our base. I think we'll do 1.5 inches. Yeah, 1.5 inches will work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark from every straight edge 1.5 inches onto the base, and I'm going to rotate and continue. Okay, one by one. There's Florsy Explorers once again.
Hola, amigos.
Hola, amigos. Alrighty, so we have 6 1.5 inch marks on the edge. Thank you, guys. So once you have your 1.5 inch marks, you're going to go ahead and begin to add petal by petal. You're starting with petal 8, and you are going to add glue to the bottom edge of your petal. Now, you only have 1.5 inches to work with on your base. So do not put your glue all the way up top. It's going to get stuck to your table. Keep the glue low, no higher than 1.5 inches, starting from the bottom edge going up. And you're going to place this bottom edge up to that 1.5 inch dot and press down and rotate. Now you're going to continue this until all 6 petals of petal 8 have been added to the base. Okay. And you're just going one by one. Okay. I will say I did utilize my Cricut machine to cut my petals for this flower. So it was definitely a help. So now I have all 6 petals of my first layer, and this is giving us a whopping 21.5-inch paper flower. Okay. Now, once you've added your first set of petals, let me just make sure real quick. Sorry, guys. Okay. Had to move my ring light just a little bit. Once you have your first layer of petals added, I'm going to go ahead and take my flexible ruler and my pencil and connect all of these dots, just like that. Okay. And this is going to give us a hexagon shape. Now, I'm going to take my second set of petals, which is petal 7, and I'm using the straight edges of the hexagon as my guideline for my placement for petal 7. So I'm going to again add glue to the bottom on the back side. Take the bottom edge of petal 7 up to the straight edge of the hexagon and press down and rotate until I've added all remaining petals for this layer to each straight edge of the hexagon. Just like that. And you've completed your second layer of petals. Now I'm going to go in with my next layer, which is petal number 6. And for petal 6, we are going to attach petal 6 going back to the corners, meaning the original 1.5-inch dots of our hexagon. So we're not going to go any further to the base right now. So I'm going to go to the middle of petal 7 where the corner is of the hexagon, and I'm going to add glue and place it in between and rotate. So petal 6 is going in between petal 7 at the corners of the hexagon. And you're going to do this until each one has been added. Excuse me. She is such a pretty flower. Even with the distressing on the sides. And you don't have to create these flowers in Halloween colors. If you purchase our bundles, you can create these flowers in any color scheme you'd like. And they're going to look great either way. Whatever color cardstock you choose, it's going to be the same result as far as the flower style. It's just a different color. Yes, it's so cute. And our last petal, again, just go up to that corner of the hexagon and press down. Oh, I really like her. I love the distressing on the edges. It really just helps to elevate the flower and the colors. Next, we have petal 5. So for petal 5, I am going to move into the center 1/2 inch. So you still should be able to see your hexagon. I'm going to go in between petal 6s. So these two petals are petal 6. I'm going to go to the straight edge that's in between them. I'm going to go to the middle of it, midway point, and I'm going to measure 1/2 inch away from that straight edge. And I'm going to mark a 1/2 inch distance from every straight edge of the hexagon that's in the center of our flower. So just mark a 1/2 inch with your pencil or pen, whatever you're using. And you should end up with 6 1/2 inch marks. Yeah, it would be. I agree. And there's a fly in here. So now I'm going to go ahead and take petal 5. I'm going to add glue to the base. Bottom edge goes up to the 1/2 inch mark. In between petal 6, petal 5 that I'm adding lines up with petal 7. Okay. Rotate and continue with your petal additions. One by one. And just be careful. I know I'm adding the glue to the petal and then directly pressing on to where the glue is on the opposite side. It is going to be hot, especially if you've never worked with large paper flowers before and hot glue. The heat does come through here. Now my fingers are used to it, so it's only like a subtle warmness. But for somebody who's starting with paper flowers for the first time, when pushing down on your petal, when it's being placed, just know you're going to feel the heat. So if you need to, just simply take your wood dowel and press down so that way you avoid any of that heat or burn, okay? Last petal of petal 5. Now, because we're closing up on the middle, we're going to have more of an overlap on our petals. So before I add the last petal for petal 5, I'm going to lift up the petal on the right, the very first petal we added. I'm going to place my last petal so that way the left side of the petal goes over on top of the right side of this final petal. Now, and you'll notice every left side of the petal is on top. So I want to keep that same pattern all the way through. Okay. And last but certainly not least, we have our final petal, which is petal 4. So before we add her, as a guideline, I'm going to take my flexible ruler. I'm going to connect the 1/2 inch dots that we created just a second ago. We're just going to connect them with a straight line. Use your flexible ruler to help with this process. And you give yourself another hexagon right in the middle. The bottom edge of petal 4 is going to be placed right up to the straight edge of the hexagon, okay? One by one, we're gonna place. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I know, Esther, I feel like with how Facebook did us dirty and they don't save our videos anymore. You'd rather be safe than sorry. But nonetheless, we will have our tutorials right here on YouTube. So be sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Now, as you can tell, I initially started distressing the very first of petal 4. So they're a little bit more distressed compared to the other ones because I was like, you know what? I like the way it's very minimal, but some of these are not so minimal, okay? But that's okay. Not all flowers, you know, are exactly alike, or not all petals. This is such a full flower. I love it. And the other thing about distressing, it really elevates and accentuates the detail on the edge of the petal by distressing it. If it was just a solid color, you would still be able to see the detail, but the distressing really makes that detail come out and pop out of your flower. Last petal of our petal 4. Make sure the right side once again goes behind the left side of the petal on the right. I know I just said left, right, left. And you're just going to place that down. Guys, she is so pretty. Again, this is a 21-inch paper flower. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning of the live, the center is not going to be hand cut today. It is going to be an image that I personally used from Cricut Design Space, okay? It's the Dandelion Center that I've used for many, many years since I got a Cricut back in 2017. Now, Julie, Photo Fab Paper Flowers, does have a centers bundle with an image very similar to this. Slightly different curves or lines, but it's going to give you the same result, okay, or similar. So I will be sure that I give you guys the measurements, and I will go back to my Cricut and get you the measurements and put them in the description of this video, okay? Because I don't have my Cricut up just yet. Let me see if it's on my canvas still. Oh, nope, it is not. Hold on. I've been using this specific center design for such a long time. So the measurements for this larger outer piece is 8.3 inches. So 8.3 inches by 10.8 inches, okay? And then these two smaller pieces are slightly different. So this one is 8.3 inches across and 4.9 inches here. So 8.3, 4.9. And then this one is 8.3 across and 5.7 here. 5.7, okay? So we're starting with the smallest, the 8.3 by 5.7. And this is basically the pom-pom centers, guys. It's very similar to the pom-pom centers. So what I'm going to do for this very first one, I'm going to take my glue and I'm going to add glue to the very thin edge, okay? And I'm going to take this bottom edge and place it right on top. I am not going to crease the little fringe. Do not press down on them. Only press down where you're attaching those two edges together. This is going to give us a nice fluffy pom-pom, okay? Now I am going to take this second piece, and for this one, we are going to do the same, where we add glue to the bottom edge, the top edge, take the bottom edge, fold it up, place it on top of that glue so the edges line up, and press down only where you add the glue. Do not press the fringe, okay? We want the fringe to be detailed and fluffy, okay? Hey, Erica. And then last but not least, we have this long piece, and the lines are cut long ways, so she's pretty long. Now, we're going to fold it over, but we're going to fold it over at an angle. So we're not going to align the sides here together. We are going to align the edges up here, but we're going to shift this over, and I'm using my table measurements, and we're going to shift it over to 1 inch off of the edge. So let me go ahead and add my glue. So I'm using my table measurement. I'm going to add glue, and I am going to unalign the sides, but I am lining the top edge that I'm putting the glue. So as you can see, the edges not aligned, the sides are not aligned because it's 1 inch into, and it's going to do like a wave, okay? But did align the edge on the top, okay? I know. Okay, so we have our 3 center pieces. I'm always going to start with the small, and all we're going to do is wrap around and roll it to where the bottom edge stays lined with itself. I'm going to add a smidge of glue. Do your best not to smash or crease any of the little pom-pom here. And you're just going to roll it up. They may get kind of entangled and like overlap, but that's okay. And we're just going to continue. And you're going to go ahead and close this up with some glue. Okay. Just like that. That's part 1. Miss you, Erica. Thank you for joining Halloween Spooktacular. Now, I'm going to go ahead and add the second piece, which is slightly bigger. So where I ended, I'm going to go ahead and add these. Again, make sure that the edges, the bottom edge aligns with the previous piece. Now I'm going to push these forward just so it kind of doesn't tear along the way. Let me add more glue. Okay. And we're just going to roll. Roll, 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 roll. And seal it off to close at the end. And again, do your best not to crease them. You still want them to have a nice fluff. Okay. And last but not least, we are going, now this edge here, if you noticed, the bottom edge where we added the glue was a lot thinner. It's about 1/2 inch wide. Well, not even, probably 1/4 inch. So once you see how thick this strip is, I am going to cut off about 1/4 inch. So just make sure it's glued. And I'm just going to cut off 1/4 inch. If you need to use your ruler to measure 1/4 inch, do that. Okay. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. So this bottom strand is not so thick. Okay. So now I am going to start where I ended, taking the side that's not overlapped right here and starting it on the inside. And I'm going to wrap. Again, you might get some tangled edges. I'm adding a little bit of glue periodically as we go, just to ensure that those edges do not shift or move. Okay. And then we're going to do this. And this should wrap around twice at least. Yep. Just like that. Look at how pretty. The detail. Now we're going to bring our flower back and we're going to place her right inside. So when we glue, we are going to be very generous to ensure that she does not come out of the center. And we're going to place her right in the middle. Now you want to be gentle with this versus the hand cut centers are a little more tougher as far as like being able to give it a little bit more pressure. When you use this type of center with the Cricut, they're a little more delicate, so just be a little more gentle, because again, our goal is to not crease any of these pieces. You want them to stay puffy. And there we have it, our completed Halloween Spooktacular 2025 template number 8 from my large template collection. This fly is bugging me. Isn't she so pretty? And there you have her. She's 21 inches wide. So I do want to say thank you guys for being amazing and so supportive with Julie and I here with Flower Camp 2020. Halloween Spooktacular 2025. Oh, she's so pretty. And guys, she would look really pretty. I did not have purple Distress Oxide, but if I did, I would have probably added purple in addition to the black. But I did not have purple. But if you added like a deep purple with some of that black, I think it would have looked just as great. And there she is. So again, guys, I do want to say thank you. Both Julie and I are super appreciative of y'all's love and support. We hope y'all are enjoying Halloween Spooktacular 2025. We have one day left, which is tomorrow, day 3, where we will both come back with some more flower, another flower from each of us. Julie might be doing 2 or 1. And then we're gonna just talk about our little projects and for me, how you can assemble these together and style them together as well. So again, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for your love and support. Don't forget to subscribe here to our YouTube channels. Don't forget to subscribe to Julie's YouTube channel, PhotoFab Paper Flowers. I would not be able to do, these collaborations if it was not for Julie's amazing ideas. So we love her, support her. And don't forget, you can buy our bundles over in our Etsy shops. The link are in the description of the videos. I'll be sure to put the link for Julie's centers as well in the description. So thank you guys again. We hope y'all have a great evening, and we will see you bright and early tomorrow for day 3, beginning at 9 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Eastern, right back here, starting with Forever Petals by V. Thank you, Julie.